I'm Raborn Johnson for Sample Library Review, and today I'm checking out Neo Brass Modern Soloists by Insanity Samples. With a wide set of articulations, convincing legato, and great sounding samples, Neo Brass is great for everything from cinematic scoring to comedy production music. Neo Brass Modern Soloists requires the full version of Contact 5.8.1 or higher. It downloads as 5.08 gigabytes and includes 5 solo instruments and 1 ensemble patch derived from over 20,000 samples. Neo Brass Modern Soloists is available from Insanity Samples for $245, but at time of review was available for the sale price of $123. This library is all about solo brass, but it has a wide range of articulations, so it's not just the standard articulations from solo brass that you might be familiar with. There's also some interesting articulations that you can use for things like comedy production music, or just some really interesting and different articulations than the standard fare that you might be used to. The interface is really, really easy to understand. There's a lot of really good scripting under the hood. You can see that you get a trumpet, a flugelhorn, a French horn, a trombone, a euphonium, a tuba, and an ensemble patch. So we're going to dive right in and just start going through the interface a little bit and let you hear some of the articulations for each of the instruments. You'll see here, these are all the articulations right here. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We're going to start with the true legato on so you can hear with these expressive longs what that sounds like in true legato. So let's go ahead and get started with the trumpet. You can hear it's just a really, really great legato and a very, very good sample set. Let's go ahead and take the legato off and let's go to the marcato. Now you'll notice the overlay threshold here. Let me talk about this a little bit. You'll see as I play, you'll see the F for forte. You'll go to mezzo forte. It goes all the way from soft to loud, so very soft to very loud. And I really like the fact that you don't have to use the mod wheel on this one. So the mod wheel, instead of it controlling the velocity so much, it just controls the expression. So you do still have the ability to control the expression, but the velocity is completely controlled by how hard you play on your controller, which is really nice. I just think that that's actually pretty darn intuitive. I like, using the mod wheel for being able to, use it for expression and velocity, but I don't know, this one just feels like it just feels like it works to me. Let's go ahead and check out the staccato patch. And let's jump down to the triple tongue. And let's try some of the falls. I really like that. That's such a useful articulation that you run into needing so many times. And it's one of those things that you scramble through your sample set to try and find, but you can never find it. So it's just so nice to have that kind of thing. Let's go with the flutter tongue. Really nice. and flutter crescendo. And let's try some of the shakes. And the comic waps. This is the kind of thing. How many times have you needed that for a comedy track that you're working on, for a production library or whatever? How many times have you needed that kind of thing and have not been able to find it? I mean, I just can't say how useful that is. I love having that. And finally, the muted flutter crescendo. I mean, these are just really, really useful articulations. You have so much of the standard fare, and you have that here. But I don't know, the last half of these are just incredibly useful in my opinion, and the sample sets are really, really great. Let's go ahead and jump over to the Flugelhorn, and we're going to get more into the interface and tell you a little bit about some of the interesting things that they're doing in the interface that I really like. But let's go ahead and start with the legato and the Flugelhorn. Really nice. Okay, let's go ahead and take the legato off and do the marcato. And let's do the staccato. And the staccatissimo. And let's just go ahead and jump down to the flutter crescendo. And the shakes. And let's do the chatter. This is an interesting one. Again, just such a useful articulation. How many times have you needed that kind of thing? Just so cool. All right, we're going to go to the French horn. We're going to go through the articulations, and then while we're in the French horn, I want to take you through the engine itself. So let's go ahead and start with the French horn in the legato. Really, really nice. Now, we're going to go through the articulations, but one thing that I want to point out that I think is so cool and just such an intuitive idea is this overlay threshold. So you'll see that as I play, the dot is bouncing around to the different velocities. You can see what I'm playing. So that obviously corresponds to mezzo forte that we're seeing on the screen here. But what's so interesting is you can actually use this to your advantage. So just beyond seeing what you're playing, you can actually use this little line here to combine articulations. So let's say that you want to go with an expressive long and you want to do a staccato, I can go over here and I can click in the blue area. And now I'm going to tell the staccato essentially where to come in. So I'm going to put it about here. And if I play over this velocity, it's going to switch to the staccato articulation automatically without me having to use the key switches, which is just so useful. Now let's try turning on the legato there and see what we get there. So useful. I just think that's so useful. It just lends itself to a natural playing style. So instead of having to, go and script all of this stuff, in your DAW with key switches, inserting all of your key switches in there, it just allows you to play it in real time, which to me is just so helpful. And you'll see here on the legato type, not only do you have the adaptive speed, which is what we're doing here, but you can actually fix this. So let's say that the transitions, for instance, in the legato, that you want a slow transition every single time. You can actually move that down to the slow transition, and it will always give you a slow transition no matter how fast you play. And conversely, same thing with the fast. It'll give you a fast transition. But the adaptive speed, this is the one that I think is the most intuitive and that Insanity Samples themselves recommend. So adaptive speed is essentially the legato. The legato itself is adapting to how fast you play. So if you play fast, you're going to get a fast legato transition. If you play slow, you're going to get a slow legato transition. So that's the way I like to do it. But you can also go down, and your fourth one, or second in the list, as it were, is the adaptive velocity legato. So that means that it'll actually base the speed of the legato on how hard you're playing instead of how fast you're playing. So if you play hard, you're going to get a faster transition. If you play more quietly, you're going to get a slower legato transition. So again, I personally like to keep it at adaptive speed, and that's what the developer recommends. So that's what I'm doing here and what you can hear. The legato transitions, you have control over the volume for that. You also have 4 different mic positions. So you'll see you have a mid-L, a mid-R, an overhead, and a room mic. You have panning controls over those, and obviously volume controls, and you can unload those from RAMs. You'll see it went down from it was at 0.69, it went down to 0.52. So if you need to conserve some resources, you have the ability to do that. Over here, you just have some really basic reverb and delay controls. So you can get into a little bit of sound design or a little bit of designing the space, as it were. So a lot of flexibility here. You do have an attack, and the key sound, I'm not exactly sure. Oh, okay. It's the keys on the instrument itself. You're actually hearing the keys being pressed in, which is nice. So again, really intuitive, straightforward engine. And I think the interface is very attractive, which again is not necessary, but it is bonus points in my mind. Let's go through some of the different mics. Let's go ahead and let's leave it on the legato, and let's just audition some of these different mics. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the room. Let's turn the room mic up. Let's load in the overhead mic. And I'm going to put both of the mid mics on, the left and the right. You can see that they're panned, so let's put those together. Let's turn those up, though. Really, really nice. Okay, let's load back in all of the mics and let's continue with some more of the articulations. All right, let's go to marcato. And staccato. Oh, let's take that legato off so we can play polyphonically. Okay, let's jump down to the falls. Really useful. And the flutter tongue. And let's do the chatter. Interesting. I like that. All right, let's go to the trombone. And starting with the legato. And let's jump down to marcato. And let's do staccatissimo. And triple tongue. And falls. And let's do the flutter crescendo. I don't think we've heard that one yet. Really cool. And let's jump down to the muted comic waps. I mean, how cool is that? I love that. And the muted double waps. I mean, that's just so useful. So useful. All right, let's go to extreme slides, falls and rises, it says. Oh, I love that. That's really cool. All right, the euphonium. And let's jump down to the marcato. And the staccato. And let's jump down to chatter. All right, let's jump down to the tuba. We've got the legato here. And let's do a few of these articulations. Marcato. And staccato. And let's do triple tongue. All right. And finally, let's end off with the ensemble patch. So the ensemble patch, you can see that it's putting all of the instruments together, which you would obviously expect. So let's go ahead and start with just the legato. This is actually, I think, polyphonic legato. So let's give that a whirl. All right, let's try some marcato. And staccatissimo. And finally, triple tongue. I really like this library. I think it has a whole lot going for it. There's just a lot of really good samples. I especially like the French horn and the trumpet. All of them are really good. The tuba is probably the weakest of the lot for me personally, but I just think, overall the samples are just really, really fantastic. The ensemble patch is really helpful. And I tell you, maybe most of all of these kind of comedic patches that you get, these different articulations that are kind of unique, those are just so valuable and so helpful in so many different contexts. Those are the kinds of things that you don't get in other brass libraries that you do get here. And I tell you, if you do a lot of tracks in a lot of different genres, you'll probably find yourself using that eventually, and you'll be really glad that you have it when you do. Intuitive interface, love the overlay threshold and the fact that you can combine different articulations. Once again, you can combine pretty much anything. Let's say you want to do, falls with expressive longs, you can do that. So just to give you an example of what that might sound like, let's pull this down. Thanks for checking out Neo-Brass Modern Soloists with me today. So what do you think about the number of instruments and the articulations available here? What do you think about the sound quality and the legato? Is this something you would use in your own tracks? If so, how? Comment below and let us know what you think. Please like this video and share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. Also, be sure to check out SampleLibraryReview.com for more news and reviews, and stay in the know about weekly sales via our weekly deal compressor.